I'd like to call the City Council meeting to order, please. Pastor Cooper, would you please do the prayer? I think the pastor that we had, I don't believe she's here.
Thank you.
We pray with me. Holy God, in this time of great stress in our state, as we are still dealing with the ramifications of the COVID pandemic, we ask that you continue to keep safe our first responders and those who are caring for those who are sick in hospitals and at homes, our nurses, our doctors, our aides. We know, God, that as we continue to move forward, that you will shine that light of hope into the city, shine this light of hope into our nation and into our world. Continue to let your grace abound as we turn to you in this moment to carry on the business of the city in the midst of the struggles and the celebrations that we have. Continue to anoint this body before us. Continue to give them your blessing and continue to open up the creativity and the understanding and the knowledge to guide us in this city. It's through our Savior Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pat, would you start us off?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nina, would you please do the roll call?
Councilperson Alvarez?
Here.
Councilperson Podgorski?
Here.
Councilperson Geishurst?
Here.
Councilperson Clem?
Here.
Councilperson Williams?
Here.
Councilperson Gully?
Here.
Councilperson Zilli?
We have the approval of the minutes from the August 3rd meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from
Second.
August 3rd.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have communications, correspondence, and announcements from the mayor. I'm going to lower this a little bit. We do have the COVID testing site going on, just so everybody knows. They did kind of close up a little bit early tonight. They were going to try to reopen. They took their tents down because they were advised that the wind was going to get too bad out there. They did have a pretty good line out there, but they will be out again tomorrow in front of the IMAX from noon until 8 p.m. tomorrow. So if you know anybody that would like to get tested or get their vaccine, they have both vaccines available. And so we are encouraging everybody. We, as you can see, are back to masks again. And we have the city no entry without a mask. So we're trying to get people healthy. We just need a little cooperation from the public. So please help us share that word because the site's only going to be there one more day. So this is a strike force up from Indianapolis. It's the National Guard that's doing this for us. And we appreciate working with the health department to get that done. That's all I have. Clerk Treasurer, do you have a report?
Sure, I do. So the monthly finance reports are in Dropbox. If you guys have any questions, let me know. The financial worksheet has been submitted to the DLGF. We do need to set the budget hearing dates. The budget has to be set along with the salary resolution prior to November 1st. So the first Tuesday and third Tuesday in October is the 5th and the 19th.
Yes.
So I need to, okay.
Yes.
We also need to start thinking about tax anticipation warrants. We definitely will need it for the MBH fund. It's struggling. Those applications are due soon. I also want to remind everyone that, and the residents, that we're going to be switching over to the new old utility billing system with the October billing. So just keep your eye out for that for more information. We have an active State Board of Accounts audit going on. It should be wrapping up early October. And then also we were the utilities was reached out to by the state. There's a program. I have some information up there on the lectern about utility assistance for those residents that may need it. It's also for rental and utility assistance. That's all I have.
Nina, I just have a question for the public. If you were on auto pay, do you have to reschedule the auto pay?
You do. So you just need your account number. You can access the city-based site through the website. It'll take you there. You just need your account number. But the reason you have to re-enter your information is because you have to re-accept the terms of the agreement.
Okay. What if you don't know your account number? Can people call your office and get it? Okay.
Nina, also, can you explain that you're gonna send
Yes,
the form
and
out
also,
to the departments?
yep, so I sent a sample budget template to the council before the meeting. I created, I'm almost finished, fillable PDFs for each department that they can submit their budget information into, and then I can combine it all for the council for their review.
Thank you.
We have reports from city officials. Lori from the parks, I'm sure she's got a busy list of things she's doing now.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just a couple updates on parks. So our fall sports are underway. Adult volleyball began tonight, as I'm sure you can hear the whistle going off behind us. Adult softball has begun, and youth soccer, those games start this Saturday. We are in need of soccer refs, so if you are between the ages of 16 and 24 and have a knowledge of the game and are interested in making some extra money, you can contact the park office for more information on that. We also have 2 more tournaments booked at IG in October, and then we will winterize the complexes around November 1st, along with all outdoor bathrooms. They will be winterized and closed for the season after that time. We have a wine and canvas event coming up at the lakefront at the end of the month on September 30th. There are still a few tickets left if anyone's interested in participating. The doors open at 5 o'clock. The painting starts at 6. And the ticket price includes dinner, and Tate's Place will be catering that event. Our 3rd annual Harvest Festival will be at Founders Square on Saturday, October 2nd from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We will have food vendors, crafters, a bounce house, several different musical acts throughout the day, and lots of fun, so come out and join us. Founders Square will be under construction at that time. The festival will still happen. We will just operate around the construction. We will host our annual Haunted Hayride this year, the weekend of October 21st through 23rd. We've been hosting this event for over 40 years. We are still seeking groups to create man scary scenes for the event. It is a lot of fun. Participants can earn up to $350 just for participating. Anyone interested can contact the Parks office for more information. We will once again be hosting our annual Christmas Craft Show. That will be December 4th and 5th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. here at Woodland Park. There are vendor spots still available, and there will be over 70 vendors at that event. Our splash pad at Founders Square is now officially closed for the season. It will reopen by Memorial Day weekend next year. Market, movies, and music on the square are now done for the season. We had a great turnout this year with the number of vendors and the attendees. It was a great summer for anything that we had outside. And finally, I will finish with a few fun facts. It took us 5 tries with 5 different vendors to get our soccer t-shirts ordered this year due to an extreme t-shirt and ink shortage. They will still be late. They will not make it here for the first weeks of games, but hopefully by the second week we will have them. We had our best fall soccer registration in 5 years, 299 kids. We also had our best spring registration, which I might have mentioned before, in 5 years at 400 kids signed up. And the third fact, we more than doubled our concession sales in the past 2 years.
Good.
When we compare 2019 to this year, we were over double what we did in 2019. Any questions?
No, you guys are doing hosting a job fair with the chamber, right? On
Yes,
the 30th?
we're partnering with the Chamber and with Petco on September 30th.
30th, right.
Here at Woodland
Job
Park.
fair here. So if you know anybody that's looking for a job, this is the place to come. I know, just not to take your thunder, but I know that the chamber has quite a few companies that have signed up and committed. So September 30th, it'll be, I think, from 10 to 2, 11 to 3. I don't know. I can't remember the time.
It'll be downstairs in Oakwood
Yeah.
Hall.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, Lori, where are you going tomorrow?
I'm being interviewed by WJOB radio station for Think Parks tomorrow morning.
All right.
Awesome.
So
Cool.
What time is that?
8:30.
All right.
Is that an AM or FM?
It's AM.
Is that AM?
Yeah. It's out of Hammond, right?
Yes.
I always get very informed on
Okay,
Facebook Live.
everybody tune in, listen to our
Thank
park
you.
superintendent. Thanks, Lori. Chief Candiano? You always have a rousing report for us.
Putting the pressure on me now. All right, good evening, everyone. I sent out a report last week. Did everybody get a chance to take a look at that? Okay.
Thank you.
Basically, what I'm going to go over here for everybody else that's in attendance. So, the month of August, our total incidents were 3,291. They came out to an average number of incidents per day of 106, which I think is probably the highest we've had this year. So, it was a busy month. So far this year, we're at 24,190 total incidents. And then just as comparison, I went back to look at August of 2020, and we were at 3,039. So 3,291 this year, 3,039 from last year. Councilmember Podgorski, you sent me a message wanting to get me to do a little deeper dive on some of this.
Yeah.
So she had located the numbers that were posted by the 911 center for their calls for August and kind of how we compared. So I ran through a couple of them. I'll go through them here real quick. I did not get every single one of them because I was short on time by the time I saw your message. But so keep in mind that there are 9 police departments in Porter County. So total incidents, like I said, we were 3,291. There were 10,869 in the county. That's 30% of the total incidents came from Portage. Disturbances, we had 185 out of 407. That's 45% of the disturbances in the county, unfortunately, we handled. Crashes, we had 135 out of 459. That was 30% for the county again. Alarm calls, we went to 100 out of 287. That was 35%. And then I went ahead and looked, I was just curious. We were dispatched to assist the fire department 95 times this month. There were 2,079 total fire calls in the whole county. So we went to 4.6 of the fire calls. So we're busy. So
Yeah.
so I hope that answered part
It
of your
does.
question there.
Thank you.
So on a little bit of a better note, our staffing has gotten a little better. We currently have 2 officers on light duty, 2 officers are on major illness, 2 at the police academy, 2 needing to be hired, and 1 officer on a military assignment. So we're still short, but we're in way better shape than we've been for the majority of the summer. So we're finally starting to come out of that. So happy about that. We were able to, we had pulled 2 officers from other assignments to get help on the road for patrol. We were able to put them back in their assignments. So that's a step in the right direction. I mentioned that we're doing some hiring. We handed out 46 applications. Unfortunately, only 23 were returned. I'm hopeful that out of the 23, we'll get some good ones, though. The testing process will be conducted on September 18th, and then they'll go through, the process that we've kind of detailed before. So hopefully by the end of October, we should have 2 people that we can look to replace some of those that we've lost. So. I sent you guys a little bit of information on vehicles, a little concerned about the fleet. It is getting older, and I don't know if any of you have been to car lots. There's no cars. I tried to do some car shopping this weekend. I went to like 4 or 5 places, and I think I saw a total of 10 cars. So I sent you some information on that. I'm definitely concerned about what that's going to do for us in the present and the future. Also sent you guys some information on some of the hot spots of the city that we're trying to focus on. You can see it's some of the retail places and some of the other places we've had a lot of calls. So I think Attorney Whitten and I are looking at some ways to work on that with the help of the prosecutor's office. So training, we've done 3,054 hours of training this year. A decent amount of this includes the hours that the rookie officers received going to the academy. We also sent Corporal Rick Krieg to attend a school to become a certified canine trainer. This is going to help improve the quality of our canine training, also allow us to do more cost-effective training so we can do some of this stuff in-house. So that's what we've been doing a lot of is online training, train the trainer stuff, because we've been able to do some of these things without blowing through our budget. So we were able to get the training hours in kind of by just looking to see what was out there and getting creative. So a couple things on outreach. We participated in a event at the MAC August 21st. Had a couple officers out there. I think the fire department's probably out there too. Great fundraising event for them. We do a lot of training out there. I know we've talked about that before. So we were out there. We got to meet the community, spend some time with them. We also had an officer attend an event in Griffith. It's called Prepare to Serve and Protect Workshop. We've talked before about how we're doing recruiting and things. This was an event that was put on by Griffith where they brought in people who had desire to be in law enforcement to come out, kind of understand what was required of them, things that they could do to help them get hired. So we participated in that. So I was pretty happy about that. We've also done some other events for local charities and things. Done some stuff with the Porter County Substance Abuse Council. So although COVID is still among us and coming back, we were able to get out with the community a little bit last month. So we also helped out the COVID test site today a little bit. The traffic got a little crazy, so we're going to be out there again tomorrow to try to assist them with that. So speaking of the Substance Abuse Council, we're looking to get some grant money that would be applied specifically to fighting substance abuse problems. So if we're able to get that money, we've got a plan for it, but we'll wait till we get some money before we talk about that. Mm-hmm. The last two things, I did a staffing study, which I shared with you all. Just in conjunction with how busy we are, you see kind of where we rank out on that. So I shared that information with you guys. And then the very last thing, I always like to end up with a little kudos for everybody. Today I'm just going to give it to the whole department. We were obviously busy in August. We've been talking about how short-staffed we were over the summer, and I think they did a heck of a job getting out there and handling all those calls for as short-staffed as we were. So that goes for the whole department on that one. So any questions? Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Superintendent Streets, Randy.
You want to go next?
All right, we got a little show and tell here. So just to give you a simple report of what's going on with the street department right now, we're still doing our normal summer duties as, let's see here, grass cutting. We continue to do crack sealing, weed killing, limb pickup, and right now we're in the process of picking up bulk, but we keep on doing what we need to do to get through the summer. Streets are really looking good this summer. For our sanitation, I want to give you an update on our CNG grants. They're still being processed right now. We should have word by September 15th on acceptance. Within our sanitation, we continue to audit our green lid recycling. So what we're going to do is we're going to just do a little demonstration, a little show and tell about what's going on in our sanitation. So you want to go get that blue, am I on? Right there, that's good. So this is our green lid, and only recycling goes in there. And I got a little demonstration here. Darren's going to fill this up about 3/4 of the way. Go ahead, Darren, fill that up. A lot of people can't picture in their mind what's going on with our sanitation program. So what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate what's going on here. Now, the private industry dictates what they have as recycling, and they want plastics 1 and 2, clean cardboard, tin, aluminum. They want all that good recycling. They want it clean. They want it clean. Go ahead, a little bit more. A little bit more. All right, that's good. All right, we're going to pick that up and put it right up here. Without spilling it. All right, we're going to imagine this is our recycling truck. And it spent 8 hours on the route picking up recycling. All right? And this water is going to represent what the industry wants. Clean recycling. It's so clean. I'm going to drink some. It's clean. Now, what has happened out there, let me see what else. I want to show you here. Little plunger here. All right, so this truck has a driver, and it has spent 6-7 hours going about. And the lids are shut, so we don't see what's in there. The driver's not going to inspect. Now we pick up 10 to 11,000 cans every week of recycling. That's on our recycling. So the guy's going along the street, and someone has a bag of grass in their toter, in their green lid, and it goes right in with the stuff right there. So that's what that looks like. All right. So he's coming along. He picks up another toter, and it's got clothing in it, right there.
Hey, that's my sock.
All right, and he's going along the route, and he runs across a toter with construction debris. All right, that's our construction debris. Okay, and then he goes along the route. Now he doesn't see what's in there. He doesn't see what's going on in there. And someone has cleaned out the refrigerator and has put it all in their trash. We got some lettuce, we got a little, we're not going to put that all in there. You know, that's just enough right there. All right, so now, what has happened to our entire truck after we paid someone 8 hours to pick it up is now called contaminated. Everyone get a good picture of that? Look at that. So now, he takes this to the landfill, or not the landfill, but the transfer station, and he dumps it onto the platform, and Republic Services looks at this and says, we can't take that. That's contaminated. Now, who in their right mind would drink that now? Huh? You wouldn't drink that. And Republic Services says, Portage, you got to clean up your act here. We can't take that. That's too contaminated. Because what they do with their recycling is they take it to the MRF and they separate the products. But with grass and construction debris and food and all that other stuff, the entire load gets rejected. And we're right now on our second month of Republic Services not accepting our recycling. And that's what our recycling program is out right now. Right now we've confiscated to date about 430 toters. And we got to get back on track. And we continue to audit our system. And I can tell you for sure that a good 80% of Portage residents do it right. But it's the 20% that contaminate the entire load. And it only takes a few cans. It only takes a few cans. So I'm asking the public to do it right going forward so we get back on track. In a couple of weeks here, we're going to take an audit. We're going to go to Republic Services and we're going to pick a truck at random with Republic Service representatives there, and we're going to dump that load onto the platform and see if we've done a job of getting back on track. So,
Hope so.
but that is my show and tell.
Very good.
All right. Hopefully it gets out there. I know a lot of people don't watch Facebook, but share this page and get the word out there that we need to get back on track with our recycling program. All right.
Very good.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
Sorry, I have a question. Is there any way that presentation you just gave us could be recorded and put on Facebook so that we can
We
share
have to
it
ask
out?
Z about that.
Just that individual
Please do.
presentation? Thank you.
He's nodding his head.
How much do you figure we lost by not being able to take our recycling in the last 2 months?
In the past numbers, with the recycling and the tonnage. Now, recycling only offsets trash. So every ton of recycling that we take out of the waste stream saves us, I think it's $57 and how much was it?
$7.13.
Yes,
A ton.
at 13 cents a ton. So we average about, in the past couple of years, we've done at least 250 tons a month. So times that by our tonnage, times that by a year, and that's how much we offset garbage rates. So, and anyone with a calculator can figure that, that's in the thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
In the thousands. So. All
Thank
right.
you, Andy.
All right, thanks, Randy.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you, Randy. Good job.
Appreciate it,
I'll do
yeah.
something different next one.
Okay.
Look forward.
All right.
Chief Wilkening?
You make me follow Candiano and Cross. Mine's not as exciting. Greetings all. We had a pretty busy month in August. We had a total of 562 calls for the month. So it's quite an uptick for us. I'm glad Chief Candiano brought up a stat. He said there was 2,079 fire calls in the county total. So we did 562 of them. So we were well over 25%. And we figured it out. There's 17 fire departments in the county. So we did over 25%, and the rest of the county did the other 75. Total, we broke 4,000 calls for the year. We're at 4,004 calls. So that's compared to 3,320 last year. So we're up 682 calls, almost 700 calls in 1 year. And last year we were about at the same pace for that. So we did 5,100 last year. We'll probably do about 6,000 this year, easy. Compared to 10 years ago, we were doing 3,500. So we're almost doubling. We've also, lately, we've seen an uptick in COVID calls, that COVID precautions. So we are starting to see an increase of that, and it's only going to get worse. So we need to take measures for that. We have kept our measures in the whole time about our COVID calls, so we've been protected. But I mean, with the increase of the COVID calls, it's only going to get worse. So as far as protecting our people and everything, us and the police department especially, because we're the ones going in these people's houses. Our mutual aid was also up this month. We had 41 total mutual aid calls. That's departments coming into our city. We also did a special code on our reporting system. That way we can track how many people are coming in mutual aid for fire calls. So that was 5. So out of the 41, 36 of them were EMS related or something like that. So that way we can keep a better track of how many ambulances are coming in the city for us. We finished our testing process last month. It went well. We ended up with 19 eligible candidates, and we were 2 short, so we immediately called those 2 on the list, and they are getting processed right now. So that was a very good thing. We were down a little bit because of our call volume and everything. We don't have as much time to train, but we still managed to put in about 400 hours of training last month. We also had Porter Stark come in and do our cultural diversity training. It seemed like it was well received. A lot of people wanted to do more of it, so I was pleased about that we were able to do that. And Todd Willis from Porter Stark, he was fantastic, and he's willing to do even more with us and even help out the city, other departments and stuff. On to my positive stuff. I'm ending with all positive. So we had a real busy month as far as activities. The union put on their golf outing. this last month, it was quite a success. Everybody seemed like they had a good time. We raised some money for the scholarship fund, so that went really well. We also did a boot drive out on Central Avenue for the Hoosier Burn Camp. We were out there for about 3 or 4 hours. We raised quite a bit of money. It all got presented to 1-800 Board Up was the one who sponsored it, and then they take it to the Hoosier Burn Camp, and I think their final number was $40,000 to $50,000. I think they donated to Hoosier Burn Camp. Wow. Special thank you to Mayor Lynch. She gave a generous donation through her charity dance. So thank you again. We also did have one unusual Sunday where there weren't too many calls, and our people took it upon themselves. Gilbert Park is named after our only fallen firefighter on duty, and so we kind of take special pride in that, and they noticed that it was in need of a little bit of work. So the whole turn went out there, and in between calls, they worked on it and tried to spruce it up and everything, and they really did a really good job. It was kind of hot that day, so they take pride in what they do, and it's really appreciated of what they do. So, and then on that same note, I did send you the email that we got. It's a fire chief in Texas. He was from the area. He had one of his fire commissioners that was driving through. He ended up having a medical emergency, and ended up being a serious one. Our crews were fantastic. They recognized it right away. They knew what to do. They got him in for surgery. And the chief told me that his wife made the statement that if it wasn't for Portage Fire Department, that he probably would have died. So I'd just like to say that, we don't get very many emails with the good stories. However, our people, doesn't matter what's going on every day, they're out there. They do a great job, and I'm just super proud to be part of the department. And I think we're second to none. Any questions?
Keep doing a great job.
I'll try to bring props next month.
Thanks, Randy. AJ? He's been a busy guy.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you all. I believe you've all received a copy of the department report. Thanks for your patience in not receiving a report last month. We had some personal and health matters in the department, so we were running pretty lean for a couple weeks there. So I do appreciate you being patient with us. So the report you have is a combination of activities both in July and August. If I could, I'd just like to spend a couple minutes highlighting some of the projects that we're bringing to completion and some of the projects that we're getting underway. The Marquette Greenway Trail and Americlex, that work is substantially complete. We met with the contractor on site and provided them a punch list. Unfortunately, you'll see that there was some contractor rework that was done out on that project. That's unfortunate, but we are moving forward, and we'll be ready to put that project behind us so that we can enjoy that investment that was made out there. Robbins Road Extension, the project's about 95% complete. There is some additional work that does remain out there, including striping and crosswalks. And then you can see the contractor was out removing or demoing the former driveway to the YMCA. McCool Road is about 95% complete. There's some restoration work that's still needed to be done out on site. We're made aware of some concern about some of the fill material that the contractor brought in out on site. Yes, we were pretty disappointed with that as well. We've asked the contractor to audit the fill that was placed on the entire corridor, and Sandy and I are waiting a report back. Again, very disappointed. When the contractor was made aware, they were equally disappointed and were very clear that they would get to the bottom of what was going on out there. So on behalf of them, apologies, and we'll work to get that matter resolved. Hamstrom Road, the work continues. A binder was placed over the weekend. Driveways will be next, pouring the concrete drives, and then surface will be placed. I was talking with Councilperson Pogorski before the meeting, and talking about the challenges of construction when you're coordinating, multiple construction crews are coordinating a construction project. I guess I'm finding out that the best way you can get a utility's attention is to start a construction project, because then they show up on your construction site wanting to work behind your construction project and all your MOT. So it all comes down at once. So appreciation to those folks who live in all of these project areas with your patience. At the end of the day, the result is a wonderful one, but we understand there are some pains as you make your way through that experience. Following Hamstrom Road, we'll be making our way over to the area around Myers Elementary School in the Bel Air subdivision on a number of projects over there. That's several streets in that neighborhood. That will wrap up the Community Crossings Matching Grant Paving Program for 2022. The City Hall remodel project is well underway. It's difficult to give you a status report because it changes every day. I would encourage you all to, if you have a few minutes, stop by City Hall, look around, but the contractor is keeping a tremendous pace with the work that they're performing. They are cautioning us and warning us that due to some challenges in the supply chain, that we may run into some delays along the way. We have yet to experience those, but they're every 2 weeks in progress meeting, they're always saying, hey, this could happen. So again, tremendous pace so far, and we're hoping that that keeps up. Another project that we're pretty excited about starting is Founders Square. The contractor mobilized last week, and my understanding is construction fence will be going up this week so that they can begin demolition work. The contractor has already been working in close coordination with the Parks Department to make sure that there's a good coordination between the construction activities as well as events that the Parks Department has in the weeks to come. We've been pretty busy at the planning department, the planning side of the operation. We have some pretty exciting projects that we're working on through the Plan Commission right now that will be before you here in the next month or two. We have a pretty significant investment just to the west of Coca-Cola. It's a developer proposing about 650,000 square foot of flex space proposed across 3 buildings. So we're really excited about that and working with them through the process. If everything goes according to schedule, they'll be before you here in October. And if they not, we may delay a month. But they appear to be ready to go and ready to move forward on that project. Another project that was brought to our attention that will be before you as well. We have a developer looking to change the zoning of some of the old Lute Farm north of Menards, south of Lute Road there. You'll recall a couple years ago a petitioner came in here with some multifamily zoning. This petitioner's seeking single-family residential zoning. The Plan Commission will be talking about that during tomorrow night's meeting. We will run into some challenges there because now we have single-family zoning right smack behind the Menards and a 14-foot wood wall. So there's some things that we're working with that developer to understand, create some good buffers, but I think a land use that's going to work out really well in that area. And then we have some other recommendations that we've been working on with the Plan Commission members to resolve in terms of the extension of Augusta Boulevard, because our thoroughfare plan calls for that road to extend north to Lute Road. So we've offered some additional design ideas on how that should be developed. The Redevelopment Commission has been very busy. Mayor Lynch straight away said, we want to get out of the real estate business. We want to sell. And so we've been working very closely now with Attorney Witten's good work to move forward with development parcel C. That's the parcel at the northwest corner of Burns Parkway in Indiana 249, so across the street from Americlex. Working to put together a request for proposals to solicit developer interest. Taking a little different tack than the redevelopment commission has decided to take a little different tack than last time. Previously, you know, it was a reach out on the entire 180 acres. It was part of the Catalyst property that went to one developer. The redevelopment commission is going to take a little slower approach and go with a little smaller pieces when they're soliciting developer interest. And that's the first one that we'll be moving forward on, advertising in October, and expect responses in November, and talking conversations with potential developers, you know, through the holiday season and into early 2022. We have continued our conversations with the Regional Development Authority and NICD regarding development around the Portage Ogden Dunes train station. We are partnering with their contractor, their consultant on a few of the projects, and there's a lot more to come on that. And as that begins to bake a little bit more, I'll be able to share with you a little bit more. But right now, some of this information came as new to me in terms of the RDA and NICD entering into contract with this consultant team. So we had to regroup a little bit with the work that we had been doing with the Redevelopment Commission with our internal consultant team here in the city of Portage, and with this new opportunity, which at the end of the day is ultimately to the benefit of the city. We're getting, they received a $1.5 million grant for planning, ordinance, and engineering design work, and we're going to now be able to take advantage of that. So at the end of the day, that means that there's some money that the Redevelopment Commission thought they were going to have to spend that they won't have to. So that's good news. A couple other things is if you were down Central Avenue today, 6071, or the former Water Reclamation Office building, is in a pile with an excavator sitting on top of it. And a GE Marshall will continue their work in the days to come with removing the rest of the debris from the building, and then beginning to remove the asphalt from the site and beginning restoration work. I guess I'll close with, and as we're always looking for new opportunities, we are working again with that consultant team I mentioned earlier on our next application for next level trails, and we'll start working on that here in the months to come. So a lot of really wonderful things going on. Again, already beginning to think about 2022 and beyond as it relates to whether it's the road construction, sidewalks, pathways. We're really a lot of work ahead of us as we continue through the remainder of 2021 and into 2022. And with that, Mayor, Council, I'll stop and ask if you have any questions.
Great progress, AJ.
Yeah.
Your department's doing a great job.
Thank you.
I just want to tag on to you, AJ, that we have a meeting, AJ and I have a meeting with the owner of the Lowe's facility next week. It's very promising, so at long last, that big box may have some inhabitants in it, and so we're pretty excited about that. And then on the 15th of September, we do have a meeting. It's kind of important. I know police and fire, we've been talking to you about it. We're going to have some major work done on our interceptor pipe. If you want to talk about that a little bit, AJ, because we really need the public to be aware that this is going to be a pretty huge...
I didn't want to steal anybody else's thunder, but I'll go. Yes, really exciting stuff. The mayor mentioned that project. I believe there's a hearing on September 15th, Mayor?
Yes. At 6 o'clock here.
What was that?
At 6 o'clock
6 p.m. here. This is a project, the project started under Congressman Visklosky and has continued through Congressman Mervan. We received over $1.25 million through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for work on the Swanson Interceptor, which is the main trunk line of our sanitary sewer collection system. There's a location north of the subdivision that we all are kind of familiar with, like Parker, Bryan, and Danube, just north there on Stone Avenue, where we have a pretty significant piece of infrastructure that historically has served as a bottleneck to stormwater or sanitary sewer collection. And by this grant, we've been able to take that project on and then do some significant work on that interceptor, both north and south of that location. So a very important project in terms of the sanitary sewer collection system here in Portage. One that we've known about for some time, but it was one that, of course, I'd say 1.25 million, the local match. I mean, this is this is probably upwards of a $1.5 million project. A very important infrastructure project that none of us will ever see because it's in everybody's backyard and there's a pipe under the ground, but a very important project. And we're all very happy. I know, speaking, I'm sure on all of our behalfs, of the assistance that we received from Congressman Visclosky, now Congressman Brand's office, to continue to move that forward. Our consultant team, the city department heads, the Army Corps of Engineers, everybody's been wonderful to work with. And now it's the time when the construction project starts. There's a need to coordinate with the adjacent homeowners. In so many cases, ladies and gentlemen, this is in their backyards. So there is a bit of a challenge, but that's where that pipe's located, and the contractors need to get there to make the necessary repairs. By and large part, folks have been at least understanding. We do have some challenges, but through open communication, we've been fairly successful, in terms of being open and honest with everybody about here's what's happening and what this is going to look like. And at the end, you do everything you can to restore the damage during construction the best you can. And that will be, I'm sure, a promise that'll be restated during that public hearing on September 15th at 6 p.m. here at Woodland Park.
We also have a public meeting tomorrow at 3 o'clock on the master plan for the sanitary plan.
Yes, and the collection system. And so Commonwealth Engineering has been doing work on behalf of the Sanitary Sewer Board and looking at the plant's capacity, looking at the capacity of our wastewater collection system. A very important initiative, one I think that we're revisiting a plan from maybe 12 years ago. Things have changed, opportunities have presented themselves, so Commonwealth is going to be presenting that soon, Thursday, I believe. And,
Thursday at 3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock. And they will be going through the recommendations for both the wastewater treatment plant and the collection system. So again, that's Thursday, September 9th, 3 p.m. here.
I have a question about that, if I may. Is there any way to, and I know these things have been planned, ahead of time, but a 3 o'clock public meeting, a lot of people work and are unable to attend. Is there any way to, in the future, make these meetings a little bit more representative of, the population that works and has commitments?
I'm going to guess that it's set at 3 p.m. because that's the time of the board meeting. But a good point. Mayor's here. We'll mention it and see if there's a way to at least get the word out about what the report is. Possibly we can record it and at least have it in a venue where people can listen to what was said.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ferdinand. I think they're basically presenting their findings to the board, but it certainly is an important point that everybody works at 3 o'clock in the afternoon isn't ideal. I'm sure there's going to be more hearings on this, but this is the first one out of the barrel.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, AJ.
Thank you.
He always has so much news, doesn't he? So we have, did I miss anybody? If not, we have reports from the standing committees.
Yes, I'd like to report on the Ordinance Committee meeting that took place today here at 5 o'clock. It's our standing meeting time. We meet prior to each council meeting. We pretty much finalized our recommendation for the mobile food vendor Thank Lori from the park for your input on that. We've also sought some input from other communities, and Stacy Witten is working on getting that piece finalized. We also entered into a discussion, it was brought up by our clerk treasurer Nina, in terms of contractors and paying their utility bills when they're in a project. We had some recommendation and good discussion on that, and we're going to have some recommendations, Attorney Rivas, that we're going to get to you on what that language may include to improve the collection of those utility bills.
Attorney Rivas?
Is that what I said?
She's way too smart for that.
Well, you know, I thought I was giving her a promotion. Attorney, clerk treasurer, isn't it all the same? I apologize for giving you a wrong title. And then we will be introducing today under new business, at least in its first reading, and we'll decide whether or not we want to suspend a recommendation on increasing the crossing guards' salary. So Mayor Lynch will be introducing that under new business. Councilperson Clem will introduce that. So that's my report. Our report, not mine.
Councilperson Pat Gorski, do you have a budget report?
I collected everything from the department heads, have given the committee some information with Nina's forms that she's going to send out. That will help, and then when we get that in, then we're going to talk some more.
That's a big job. We're meeting again tomorrow.
Yes, you and I are meeting tomorrow. Yep.
And I have let Nina know, so if she's available to meet with us.
Absolutely.
Okay. Unfinished business, we have a resolution 21-16. Scott?
Brian, would you take that, please?
Resolution number 21-16, waiver of noncompliance for MCP USA Incorporated. Whereas Portage Common Council wishes to engage and foster economic development within the city of Portage, whereas the Common Council adopted ordinances and resolutions evidencing its desire to allow tax abatement benefits for business located within the previously designated economic development target area, and whereas MCP USA Incorporated submitted its statement of benefits requesting a 5-year tax abatement on personal property located at its business, with said statement of benefits being approved by the Portage Common Council on October 3rd, 2017 by the passage of Resolution 17-9. And whereas pursuant to Indiana Code, the property owner is required to file their business tangible personal property tax assessment return to the Portage Township Assessor in each year thereafter. And whereas the property owner filed said return for year 2019, paid 2020 on May 14th, 2019, but unfortunately improperly filled out the return and requested no abatement, indicating on the return that no tax abatement deduction was due or requested. And whereas due to the incorrect return, the owner received no abatement for said year, which would have been its first year of their approved 5-year abatement. And whereas the property owner is seeking a waiver of noncompliance under IC 61-1-1-12-1-9.5 to allow them to correct the return to claim the first year of the abatement. Now therefore the Portage Common Council finds that the property owner's noncompliance was neither willful nor intentional. Therefore, the property owner shall be granted a waiver of noncompliance. The property owner is hereby granted a waiver of noncompliance for failure to file the returned forms as described above. That consistent with this waiver, property owner shall receive the benefit of the personal property tax abatements previously granted under Resolution 17-9, where that as a term of the waiver, the tax abatement shall commence with tax year 2019, paid 2020, as if it were year 1 of the abatement schedule, and continue thereafter, provided, however, that there are no future noncompliance issues. That this waiver shall not be construed as to contemplate a waiver of any other years, past or future, other than what is addressed herein. Therefore, the property owner is required to file all forms required under Indiana code to maintain the tax abatement for future years. Let the record reflect that this has been read in its entirety.
I was wondering if we could, before we make a decision whether we're going to entertain a motion, if we could have some input from our attorney regarding this particular waiver of noncompliance.
Certainly, Councilman Williams. So we've had a lot of discussion about this, both with myself, members of the council, the attorney for the property owner, and the township assessor. It appears that on multiple years, the property tax return was improperly filled out. It was apparently lack of understanding on the employee of the property owner that filed those. The assessor has, after much discussion and on her side of the aisle, sought input from the State Assessors Association as to whether or not that kind of deficiency can be corrected with a waiver of noncompliance. Her concern was that it really is an amendment. It's an amended tax return, which the statute in Indiana says you can only go back 2 years. Through some research which I provided with the county attorney, there's some case law out there that indicates that City Council can allow a waiver of noncompliance to correct what would be perhaps characterized as a scrivener's error or a mistake on the form. In this particular instance, I can only assume, as logic would dictate, that's exactly what happened. Nobody in their right mind puts in a property tax return asking for no abatement that they've in fact been awarded, particularly in year 1, which is the big abatement. There were some other deficiencies, but those have all been corrected. So, and it seems like the property owner has done all the things necessary to make sure that the other returns have been amended, that the problem has been addressed internally, and so it's my recommendation that in this instance that you entertain the notion of approving this resolution. In the end, we're no worse for the wear. It's exactly what we bargained for back in 2017. They've done the things requested of them apparently as part of the tax abatement that was granted. So in all fairness, it would seem appropriate to grant this waiver of compliance.
So when does year 1 begin?
So that would be, so interestingly enough, the initial property tax return, they put in year 1, 18 pay 19, which was actually a year early. So originally the property owner had apparently thought that year 1 would be 18 pay 19, but that's just looking at the return, that's clearly not the way it should have been. So the assessor, through the assessor's office, has corrected that and made 19 pay 20 the year 1, because that's when the stuff went in.
Okay.
Had 18 pay 19 been year 1, they would have got 100% tax abatement on $1,500 worth of stuff, as opposed to a ton. So so as it stands, year 1 would be this one, 19 pay 20, and then they've got 20 pay 21 and 21 pay 22, which I'm told by the assessor those returns are corrected and on file and received in her office.
Right.
So with this waiver of non-compliance, they'll be good to go.
And do we have representatives here from MCP? I guess I would like to hear, maybe the rest of the members of the council would like to hear why this error occurred.
Why it happened?
Yeah, why it happened. If you could just state your name. And
my name is Eyal Tenenbaum. I'm MCP USA CEO.
Okay.
It was just an innocent mistake. We had to file, we had to fill the forms in a certain way. We missed the form or something. We filed it. We were sure that everything is okay. Then the next year, in 2020, we were supposed to receive, like if we haven't paid anything, if we were supposed to pay something and we haven't, So we were supposed to receive some bills, and these bills were sent to our place, but we never received them. According to the city, it was sent to our to MCP USA, but not to the specific suite number, and we never received it. If we would, like Dan said, we would probably say immediately that there is a problem because we are not supposed to pay it, but this is what happened. It was absolutely an innocent mistake.
Appreciate you explaining that. I just want to make sure we understand exactly what you're saying. So you did get a tax bill for your personal property?
It was, we were told that it was sent to MCP, but we never received anything. And then in 2020, yes, this year, in 2021, when we received a call, or we called about the 2020, when are we supposed to file the forms for the abatement for 2020, then we found out, oh, we owe also for 2019. And then this is how this story started to roll.
I don't want to complicate this, but did we verify it was sent to 6750 Daniel Burnham Drive, Suite E? That's your address?
This is our address, and we corrected the Suite E. We added the Suite E in the last few months.
But what suite are you actually in?
Suite E.
Okay. Wow.
I don't think the county had Suite E on originally. I think that was the problem. The county, I think what he's trying to say
they just
is
sent
the
it
county
to
sent it to just the address.
6750 Daniel Burnham?
Yeah, but not the suite. So
yeah, that's right.
I see.
This one, if I may, and I get the consternation of the council, and I don't mean to be the agent for MCP, but I mean, this one's much more palatable in the sense that than the last couple that we had, in the sense that they actually tried to file the forms, you know, as opposed to just disappearing into the weeds and never doing anything. Yeah, right. It's like they unfortunately, the part of the form that they goofed was the most important part. But I think everybody's on the same sheet now. I think
we learned our lesson for sure.
I understand that you have a new expansion in the works?
Yeah, this is hopefully soon. We have a new owner. The company in Denmark bought MCP, and the closing is supposed to be in the very coming weeks. And as soon as it will take place, we hope that we will expand. Yes, we are. We have already started to look for places.
Well, thank you for being here in the city and being part of our growth.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
All right, I make a motion that we approve this waiver of non-compliance for MCP.
Thank you.
Second.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, Nina, would you do a roll call on that, please?
Sure. Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
And I just want to say I've had the opportunity to tour this facility. If you get the opportunity, they're very gracious in taking you around and showing you the product that they make, which is food serving trays for airlines and
Yeah, we're making trays for ready meals, not only airlines but also schools, retail, all kinds.
And I know they'd be happy to show you around. It's spotlessly clean.
You know the others.
Thank you. We know we're in Suite E, right?
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Eyal. Okay, new business resolution of 21-17, ARP funds appropriation.
Deb, would you take that, please?
Sure. Resolution number 21-17, a resolution appropriating funds into the American Rescue Act Fund. Whereas Congress passed the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 and the President signed the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, and whereas the City of Portage was awarded $8,350,874.56 from the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund. And whereas the City of Portage received an initial payment of $4,175,437.28 from the state of Indiana on July 23rd, 2021. And whereas the Portage Common Council wishes now to appropriate a portion of these funds according to guidelines from the U.S. Department of Treasury. Now therefore, the Portage Common Council resolves that the following appropriations be made into the American Rescue Act Plan Fund solely for the purposes named herein. The first one, not to exceed $500,000. Purpose, to provide for pandemic hazard pay to all employees of the City of Portage actively employed on September the 7th, 2021. All full-time employees shall receive hazard pay equal to $1,000 gross. All part-time employees shall receive an amount equal to their full-time equivalency prorated from a maximum of $1,000 gross. Next one, $29,116 for the Police Department's Lexipol subscription to update existing rules and regulations and standard operating procedures, including pandemic response. Next one, $18,763.65 for the City of Portage's Lexipol subscription to update and maintain the city's employee manual and standard operating procedures, including pandemic response. Next one, $7,818.49 to purchase one HPE ProLiant tower server and required accessories, including installation labor for the Clerk Treasurer's office, a remote connection to the current workstation located in the Clerk Treasurer's office, serving as a work group connection for the office staff, and its financial system and utility billing software does not allow for secure remote access. To better facilitate remote work and to allow for a secure remote VPN access, in the event it is needed, a server equipped to host the aforementioned environment is required. Last one, $7,106.33 to pay for the City of Portage's cyber insurance policy. This will help protect city assets in the event of a cybersecurity attack. COVID-19 has heightened the risk of these threats due to the increased online presence throughout communities. The total of $1,062,804.47. Further resolved, the Portage Common Council reserves the balance of the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund distribution totaling $7,288,070.09 to be appropriated at a later date. Let it reflect it's been read in its entirety.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Deb, I don't think the total was updated with the revised version. That's a little bit more for the line item we removed.
Yeah, I think it was.
Totals in over $1 million. Should be 562.
Was it changed?
I didn't change the amounts.
I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry if you're not. What's the process for which these decisions are being made?
The process is the council votes on this.
Well, like the committee that, so for example, the committee comes up with the ideas of what to appropriate these funds for, and I just want to know if those meetings are made public, what the decision-making process is for those, how do we determine what's going to be appropriated or what's going to be spent on. Yeah, I just think, you know, transparency is a major thing for these funds. I mean, this is kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime grant that's given to us from the federal government, and I understand the implications or limitations that we have to abide by, but I think the public deserves to know how it's being spent and to be updated at every point. We read the resolution, but you know, how many people really know what is being said? If we could maybe come up with a graphic, a big poster board, put it on an easel and put it in the lobby of City Hall, and you know, like when you raise money, they have those thermometers, right? But maybe we could have the opposite, where every time we spend, we deduct a little bit so that people know. Because ultimately, they're going to say, I can't believe you spent all this money and didn't tell us how you spent it. Well, that's what we're trying to do. So that's just my 2 cents. I appreciate you for that.
So just to let you know, Ferdinand, we have a stimulus committee, which is made up of myself, the city attorney, 2 council members, your president, and your budget chair, and the clerk treasurer. We've had several meetings, and that's what the council members kind of desired that they wanted to present to you. So this is our first time at doing that.
And how was that committee selected?
The mayor selected that committee.
Okay, that's fine. And then my question is, were any of those meetings made public in any way? Or were they posted? Was there a certain time?
They wouldn't be public. There's not a forum there.
Is that a federal, like,
No, but there's no need to hear those public. And really, here's the thing, I mean, if I may weigh in here, this is a major work in progress, and just like every other community in the country, they're trying to figure out what we can even use the money on. We haven't really gotten to the necessarily which is better. It's more like which is allowable. In my humble opinion, I agree with what you're saying. To the extent that this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, I think it should be all hands on deck. I think the council should be talking quite a bit about this, because once the money's gone, it's gone.
I agree.
But we have the opportunity to do some pretty fantastic things for the community with it, so absolutely you should.
And I understand that all of these expenditures are needed and are, greatly needed, and we're grateful for the federal government to come in at this time and, provide us with these relief funds. But those are just my concerns, and thank you for allowing me to voice them.
So the other thing, Ferdinand, is that there are certain things that are not allowed under the ARP money. We cannot pay employees, we cannot buy police cars, we cannot buy fire engines, we cannot purchase, vehicles for the city. So I think Nina can even tell you that when we got the first money, halfway through the government added some other things to it, and it's been made very clear to us that they could do that again, because they don't even have a clear picture. A lot of the monies from the first round, not us, by the way, but a lot of cities gave huge amounts of money back because the directives from the government were not clear, and it is not our intention to give this money back. So we're working on how, the best way we can use it without, being frivolous with it. We have till 2024, Nina, to spend it.
To start
if we
the
have a project going, and that money's been earmarked for that project, we have till 2026 to complete the project. So
I just think people should be made aware of the options and then the eventual solutions. But like you said, we have plenty of time.
I think you make a good point.
I do too.
Councilperson Alvarez. And I think as council members, if we feel there's an area that the committee should consider spending the money in, we ought to voice that. We ought to communicate that to the group. So then they can look at whether or not first of all, does it meet, the requirements? Could it be spent in that area? And I don't know if there's a mechanism, we don't want to complicate this, but I think you're right. We need to make it transparent and clear. Maybe there is a poster, something that we put at City Hall or put on Facebook or something that says, this is where the money has been going, this is what's been approved by the council. And, there'll be more appropriations coming down the pike. We're not going to spend it all at once. So we don't have to do that, but I can appreciate what you're saying in regard to being transparent.
Thank you, sir.
I have a comment on that. I think my thought of this is it should come through the budget committee before it comes to council. It shouldn't just come directly from the mayor's and the clerk treasurer's office to council agenda. I think this should be reviewed through the steps of what the council is supposed to do, have a budget meeting and where the funds go and how they should go. Now, why couldn't that take place?
It can be. The council has the authority, only the council has the authority to spend this money. The mayor doesn't have a vote, the clerk treasurer does not have a vote. That's why you have this paper tonight, because the mayor and the clerk treasurer do not have a vote on this. It's strictly.
But I think it should be
the-
brought to our attention as a council before the meeting instead of the night of the meeting on the agenda.
Well, you
I
have
think
two
we should
council
all be-
members, you have two council members in that stimulus committee, and they should be reporting to you.
Well, why can't it go to the budget committee to meet
They-
the other ones?
They can, I think you would, your budget chair is on that committee, so yes. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah, I think we should host a budget meeting if any more of these funds to be discussed for all council members to attend.
I don't have a problem with it.
Your council president's the one that emailed this to you, Pat.
So, Dan, we need to change this dollar amount.
Yeah, so just amend the motion. is
Yeah, I will amend the motion to adopt to reflect the correct total of the amount that we're spending. And I don't have that number.
It's
It should be-
562,804.47 cents. Is that what I got?
Yes.
So you have $562,804.47.
Right. That's the
And
dollar amount.
do you think it should be changed so it states what the remaining amount of our full allocation is left? We can't ever appropriate what we don't have. We won't receive our other half until July of next year. So should that be changed, or does it matter?
It probably doesn't matter at this point, but it will. It will. It will matter at some point. Absolutely.
So what is
Maybe
the
we need
exact
to-
amount again?
$562,804.47.
Yes.
If my math is correct, and I'm a product of Portage Schools, so I believe I am.
I saw your calculator.
8 what, man? 562, 8?
04.47 cents.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So can we correct that in the next discussion on the next funds, so we can all be involved?
Yeah, that's up to Devin Collin. I'm not.
I'm asking
Council
the
President.
chairman of the budget committee to notify all
I
council
will talk
members
to Colin.
of discussions.
And I'm hoping that, honestly, as I talk to other municipal attorneys, I talk to other elected officials, everybody is struggling to trying to find things that fit within the tight criteria now, hoping that the criteria gets widened. So I think that, you know, as time progresses, maybe our possibilities widen, and I think that's awesome if everybody's sort of weighing in with ideas for the community.
All right, so I will amend my motion to adopt Resolution 2117, reflecting a total of $562,804.47 of what's been appropriated to date.
What are these appropriations for each one of these lines then?
But that's the total.
This is the total here, those are
That's
real
the total.
numbers?
Yeah.
Okay,
It was higher, Pat,
Oh, I
because I
see.
took that stuff out.
okay, I see. You just didn't get the bottom line?
Yeah.
I see, okay. Thank you.
So, Madam Mayor, we need a second on that.
We have a motion and a second.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion? If not, Nina, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Fedorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geishers?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
I do have
Okay,
a
we
quick
have
question.
Resolution 21-18.
Oh, wait, we have a question.
I'm sorry,
from-
I had a quick question. Is there a place where we can see as to what we are and what we can't spend the money on, and the public can also take a look at?
Sure.
They've been posting
I think I have it
that.
uploaded
Okay.
Dropbox 11.
Yeah,
I just-
it's been out
So
there.
the public is able to see it and they can, we can hear their input.
All right, Resolution 2118. Gina, if you can take that, please.
Sure. Resolution number 2118, a resolution authorizing temporary interfund loans. Whereas the following temporary interfund loans are necessary for the purpose of maintaining cash operating balances in the funds herein named. Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana That the clerk treasurer is hereby authorized to make the following temporary loans. Such loans to be secured by a pledge of revenues to be received which are not otherwise allocated and to be repaid on or before December 31st, 2021. Date June 30th, 2021, from MVH restricted to MVH for the amount of $1 million. On June 30th, 2021, from local option income tax to sanitation, the amount of $500,000. September 7th, 2021, from local option income tax to MVH for $650,000. Passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Portage.
Make a motion to adopt.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Nina, do you want to explain that?
Well, I do want to just bring to your attention that the current disbursements out of that fund, in 2018, to date, our expenses out of that fund are over $934,000 more. In 2019, $504,271, and in 2020, $771,115.45. So it's going in the wrong direction.
Can you give me those figures one more time?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Any questions for Nina?
So, yeah, I do, Clerk Treasurer Rivas. So you mentioned that our borrowing or temporary loan trend is heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Will that have a detrimental effect on our city finances, long-term and or short-term?
It will cripple other funds. Like, for example, this city owes the redevelopment commission almost $1 million. Whether or not the redevelopment commission and the city decide to forgive that or it gets paid back, nonetheless, we had the funds available in the MVH restricted fund, which is a very heavily restricted fund by statute. We had 1.3 million available. 1 million had to go to MVH already for operations. So now that fund's crippled. So now the RDC can wait again. That's what I'm saying. So now that's almost depleted. So now we're moving to lit fund. What happens if that's depleted? Now another one, CCD, CCI. So there's the disbursement problem. It needs to get under control.
And if we don't adopt this resolution approving the temporary loan, then we are even more crippled.
Then you can't make payroll.
Then we can't make payroll. Okay, thank you.
I don't have the answer. I have to let you know that financially where it's at.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We have the Street Sanitation and Park Department Collective Bargaining Agreement. Dan, would you like to explain that, please?
Sure. I'll have Randy up there as well. Martin. Come on, Randy. You don't have any props, do you?
No, I don't have any problems.
All right. So what you have in front of you, I've sent out yesterday. I finally got it back from the union after they ratified it. So there's a bunch of minor changes in the contract. I'm going to go and just hit on a couple of the big ones, and then Randy, you can sort of take up the ball and run with it. So obviously the biggest change is wages. It's a straight flat $1.01 across the board wage increase. Another big change is it allows for, similar to the utilities contract, it allows for insurance reimbursement for the retiree, up to 75% in one circumstance and less in another. But in any case, they didn't have insurance reimbursement before for retirees. That's new to the contract. Added day after Thanksgiving, since the council passed that as a policy, and moved the construction crew out of the street department and into storming and tremendous group. So the added a week of vacation, I think in 20 years.
Yeah.
And then 4% longevity at 24 years. I don't know if that was already in there. And Randy, you had there's some other changes, nuanced to your department specific. Did I miss anything of note?
Just some minor details in scheduling vacation. And we did go through and indicate recognition of some of the different classes throughout sanitation and streets as in section 1.1. So there's some other stuff in section 4.1 that we edited and changed in work shifts and work seasons such as winter, summer, and then
Yeah, that's pretty much what Randy's getting to. Is there were a lot of changes that we made that sort of help with the running of the department, but it's not really a cost item. I really tapped onto the cost items for you guys this evening, but the rest where there were some, again, scrivener errors, misspelled words, things like that we cleaned up all that stuff, and then a few nuances for the departments running, and then those cost items I mentioned. Any questions?
So I think, do they need a motion and a second before you can ask questions? So you'll need a motion and a second. Are these separate contracts or they're all one?
They're all one, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the Street Sanitation Park Department's collective bargaining agreement that actually ends December 31st of this year.
That's the other point. Sorry. Thank you, Councilman Williams. It's a one-year contract. I forgot the white elephant in the room. So we're immediately, if this is passed tonight, good news, we're done with this year. Bad news, I'm immediately back into negotiations for a multi-year contract.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Now, is there any questions?
Yes. Could you possibly explain, or please explain, the reasoning behind the short-term contract and then immediately beginning the next term contract or the next long-term contract shortly thereafter?
So what I've tried to do is, if we looked at the city's finances when this administration took office, a multi-year contract would have been 0, 0, and 0. So I'm trying to give the union employees an opportunity to have a multi-year contract after this year, where the administration has picked up some of the finances and gotten us a little closer from being out of the hole. That was it. That's the bottom line. If we'd have done a multi-year coming in, it would have just been, there's no money.
So based on the previous resolution that we just approved with a temporary loan, $1 million, what, if Clerk Treasurer Rivas, if you don't mind me asking, what would the effect be then? I mean, we're...
So you guys just approved a resolution for a temporary loan totaling $1.65 million to MVH from other funds. That only gets you through the payrolls before the October meeting. I'll be back at it October asking for more. So
thank you.
So yeah. So I guess you'll have to consider what funds you're going to starve to move the money.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
If there are no further questions, Nina, would you do a roll call vote?
Councilperson Alvarez.
Yes.
Councilperson Zagorski.
Yes.
Councilperson Geis-Hurst.
Yes.
Councilperson Clem.
Yes.
Councilperson Williams.
Yes.
Councilperson Gully.
Yes.
Thank you, Dan and Randy. We have the introduction of ordinances. Do we have any ordinances tonight?
Yeah, we do have one, Madam Mayor.
Yes,
that
crossing
Ms.
guards.
Councilperson Clem will read regarding the crossing guard salary.
Ordinance 21, Be it and it hereby ordained to the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana as follows. Section 1, ordinance amendment to the section entitled Administrative Positions of 2021 Salary Ordinance, currently written as follows. Crossing guard, $2,700 per school year, payable monthly as $15 a day worked. Shall hereby be amended to read as follows. Crossing guard, $3,100 per school year, payable monthly as $17.22 per day worked. Let the record reflect it's been read in its entirety. Motion to suspend.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Are there any other ordinances to come before you tonight? Scott? No?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay.
I have none.
At this time, we will entertain any petitions, remonstrances, and public input. So at this time, the public may come forward with any statement. Please state your name and your address and try to keep your comments to about 2 minutes, please.
Reverend Michael Cooper, 5455 Clem Road, Apartment 1 here in Portage. Mayor Lynch and Common Council, last week the U.S. Department of Justice released the 2020 hate crime statistics. The numbers from the FBI show a dramatic rise in hate crimes reported in communities across Indiana, with a 132% increase statewide. The crimes documented were anything from hate-based graffiti on someone's house to someone who was physically injured. In a statement, the Anti-Defamation League said the reason for the large percentage growth change here in the numbers for Indiana since 2019 to 2020 is that more law enforcement agencies are reporting instances to the FBI database, which is a good thing. The more reporting we have, the better understanding we have of hate crimes across our state. These reports are voluntary. The 2020 hate crime statistics for this state are based on data received from only 174 of the 334 law enforcement agencies in the state. Portage was not one of those cities reporting. These statistics are important for not only documenting the instances of hate-related violence in our community, but also in shaping local and state public policy. The FBI Uniform Crime Reporting Program defines hate crimes as committed criminal offense which is motivated in whole or in part by the offender's biases against a race, religion, disability, sexual orientation, ethnicity, gender, or gender identity. Fully consistent with the human rights ordinance adopted by this council. Mayor Lynch, I asked you to review with the applicable departments policies to incorporate hate crimes motivations into the investigations and document the relevant instances in our city, and to include this city with the 174 other agencies across the state that are reporting hate crimes numbers to the FBI Uniform Crime Reporting Program.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend.
Is there anyone who wishes to address the council? If not, are there any other matters to come before the council tonight? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.